The freedom of speech,
The other side of the non-disclosure agreements, the agreements. Yo, it's your man Sam Ant here at Viral Hip Hop News. Go ahead and hit that like button, smash that notification bell, and y'all know what to do, man. Go grab your Viral Hip Hop merch right now. Y'all see the merch. I need y'all to grab some merch. I need y'all to tag me in some photos. Let's get this shit popping. Definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all. All right, let's get to work. So it's been about 19 years, a little over 19 years to the date that we lost a hip-hop legend in Jam Master Jay. He was murdered on October 30th, 2002. And like a lot of our legendary rappers who were murdered in mysterious ways, there was a lot of aura and a lot of story and a lot of conspiracy surrounding his death, and a lot of story given the last 19 years. Well, this dude by the name of Frank Owen wrote a real interesting article, dropped it I think October 22nd, a couple weeks ago, and it was about Jam Master Jay, and he titled it The Secret Life of Jam Master Jay and the BMF. Now we see the BMF series going crazy out there on Stars, 50 Cent doing this thing about the life of Big Meech, his brother Southwest T, and the crew. A quote-unquote fictional story, but we all know that it was probably some very real events going on surrounding that story, get a lot of hype right now. So I thought that Jam Master Jay story, given the 19-year history behind his death and its correlation with BMF, raised an eyebrow, and I was like, let me take a look at this article, and it's a very interesting read. Gonna read a little bit of it to y'all, kind of giving y'all insight of what the dude is thinking about, Frank Owen, and then I would love to hear y'all thoughts, man, in the comment section. So let's get to work. All right, so let's start around the time in the late 80s. Jam Master Jay and Run DMC are doing their thing, but at the time he goes and falls into some bad times with the Internal Revenue Service as they hit him with a massive tax bill around the Raising Hell days. Now this is what I'm going to read per Frank Owen's article verbatim. Let's go. Now he said, according to Tracy Miller, Run DMC's longtime publicist, Jam Master Jay could not keep up with the payments as the interest compounded over $500,000, and the IRS put a lien on his bank account. The government allowed him to keep some of his money, but most of his earnings went to paying the tax man. Desperate for cash, he turned to the one thing his friends in Hollis did to make money in a hurry: dealing drugs. In '95, Jay and two associates, JMJ Records regional manager David Seabrook and Curtis Schoon, an entrepreneur from Hollis, traveled to Los Angeles to meet a drug supplier to buy cocaine, says Seabrook. Jay said he knew somebody in LA. He was going to be in Cali anyway on business, so we met up there, he says. Schoon allegedly put up $30,000 to finance the deal, but when Seabrook and Schoon arrived to Los Angeles, Jay could not find the drug supplier. Jay said he knew a second person in Compton, so Jay went to see him and they robbed his ass, Seabrook says. Now Schoon blamed Jay for the ripoff and demanded he repay the debt. In an interview that Owen conducted with Schoon in 2003, he admitted Jam Master Jay owed him money, but claimed he paid him back. I had to get heavy with him, but he paid. This is what Schoon told Frank Owen. Now, despite the disastrous start, Jam Master Jay persisted, and by 1996, according to the government, he had established himself as a player in the drug world. In 1998, Run DMC's flagging career received a boost when Arista Records signed the group. Jay used his share of the money from the recording contract to pay the IRS, and although no longer in debt, he still continued to broker drug deals. Jay was scrounging for money even after he paid off the IRS, says Eric Shake James, who was a 15-year-old rapper when he met Jay at a pickup basketball game in Milwaukee, after which they became fast friends. Jay had a lot of overheads. He took care of his mom, who moved to Carolina. He took care of his cousins going to college. He took care of his wife, his kids. He was paying for his sister and her house. That was Jay's biggest problem. He couldn't say no. Jay's drug operation was a modest affair, more of a profitable side hustle than a major business, until he met a mysterious character he referred to only as Uncle. Now, Eric James remembers the time he first heard the name Uncle. One Jay told me, "He shake. We ain't doing music no more. We're going to do movies," he said. I'm like, what? So Jay says, yeah, there's this uncle, or there's this guy, Uncle. He's a cool guy, and he's going to invest in a movie. In 2000, Jay had planned to produce a gangster movie called Forever Frank, but he couldn't secure financing for the project. James pressed Jam Master Jay to reveal Uncle's identity, but he would only say he was a street dude. James assumed Uncle was a drug dealer and a significant one if he could afford to invest millions in a movie. Other members of DJ's inner circle remember meeting Uncle. I met Uncle twice, hung out with him in clubs, me, him, and Jay, says Jay's nephew, Rodney Jones, who goes by the rap name Bo Skaggs. Jay introduced him as my homeboy Unc. Now, though Jay never disclosed Unc's real name to his associates, one time he let the name of the organization Uncle represented slip out. He said Uncle was a part of the Black Mafia family, a source told me. The Black Mafia family was founded in Detroit in 1989. By 2000, it had become one of the largest cocaine trafficking organizations in America. According to the Drug Enforcement Administration, the group employed 500 people and ran stash houses in dozens of states. The organization was notorious for investing in hip-hop business and launder drug money. The Black Mafia family is subject to the new TV show BMF, produced by 50 Cent, like I alluded to early in the conversation. He continues to write on Frank Owen. While it's unclear how Jam Master Jay first met Uncle, Uncle supplied him with multi-kilo cocaine loads on consignment, which Jay gave to his associates to sell. A source who worked with Jam Master Jay selling drugs described a typical transaction. Jay made a call to Uncle, and then Jay called me with a phone number. He says, I went to meet some dudes at his house in St. Louis. Some guy asked me how much. I thought I could move. I said 20 keys. They said, how are you going to get it back? I said, I was going to drive it back. They gave me a phone number and said, call this number when you get back so we know you made it. I walked out with 20 keys of coke just on Jay's name. That's how crazy it was. The source said once he sold the cocaine, he either drove back to St. Louis to pay for the consignment or the Black Mafia family members came and picked up the money. They charged $18,000 a key, but if I brought the money within 3 days, it would be $17,000 a key. If I bought the money in 50s and 100s, it would be $16,000 a key. I didn't want no 10s or 20s because they said their biggest problems was moving the money from A to B. As for Jam Master Jay's end of the deal, Jay would get $3,000 a key. If I did the deal for 10 keys, that's $30,000. Jay didn't have to do shit except make the call. Asked why Jam Master Jay risked his career in serious drug time, the source told Frank Owen, you gotta understand, the one thing a street guy wants is a connection to cartels, a connection to someone who can give him all the cocaine he wants. That's like a unicorn in the drug world. When you find a unicorn, you're not going to walk away from it. Uncle was a unicorn. Now, obviously, this story goes on and on. You can find this story, like I said, Frank Owen, The Secret Life of Jam Master Jay and the Black Mafia family. We all know how this story, unfortunately, ends with the demise of Jam Master Jay in his studio building back in Queens, New York. We have assumption on who killed Jam Master Jay. I remember seeing a documentary and things like that. I wonder, we know his life had something to do with what was going on, and very unfortunate, but we didn't know how deep it was, and now we're starting to get a little bit more context. Y'all leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about what I read, what you heard about Jam Master Jay. Like I said, this story gets deeper. I'll read a little bit more, and then we'll get up out of here. Now, he said, let me see.
Hip hop, hip hop, yeah. Hip hop, hip bars is back. Hip hop, Sam and oh God, what's up with you? I done watched them niggas do interview after interview. They not culture vultures, the culture something they been into. So if you never gave them a view, I recommend you do. Cause when they question guests, they message is not subliminal. It don't matter if you a rookie.